All right, thanks a lot, Hallie.
Whether you were cheering for the blue or green today, we have a story that may have you seeing red. As education dollars are getting harder and harder to come by, some of the top brass at one state school are spending money like it's still the good old days. 7 Action News investigator Ross Jones, a Spartan alum, reports tonight from East Lansing.
This story is about green and white. Not the colors Michigan State students cheer for on Saturdays, but the scarce school dollars officials are spending at a time tuition is rising.
The state has cut our budget about 26% in actual dollars for the last 10 years.
Deep cuts have led MSU to raise tuition nearly 20% since 2010, forcing students like Mike Havern to work 2 jobs. The third oldest of 11 children, his parents can't afford to help him pay for college.
Well, I have to make sacrifices for sure. I don't really have another option. If I'm not working, I won't be able to pay the bills.
But as students have tightened their belts over the last year, school officials have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on travel, entertainment, and meal expenses. And here's how they did it. When trustees want to take in a football or basketball game, they need only ask. And over the last year, they've been asking a lot, spending over $68,000 in public money to attend Spartan athletic events. A school official says MSU encourages trustees to cash in on the tickets, saying there are typically donor and alumni sessions to attend, and the presence of trustees is important. But if sports aren't your thing, there's good news. Trustees can help themselves to tickets at the Wharton Center for Performing Arts. Over the course of about a year, they've taken in more than $24,000 worth, and no one grabbed more than multi-millionaire developer and trustee Joel Ferguson, who took in at least 19 shows, including Wicked, Carrie Underwood, and Jerry Seinfeld.
Sir?
Ferguson wouldn't talk to us at last week's board meeting, but a spokesman said trustees are encouraged to attend the shows because potential donors are often there. The money to pay for the tickets and all the expenses we're talking about doesn't come from tuition dollars, but from other public money in university investment accounts. Perhaps no one had a better time spending the school's money than trustee Faylene Owen. When the MSU basketball team traveled to Germany last season, Owen made the trip too. Flying business class, her ticket cost nearly $6 grand. But no one likes to fly alone, so Owen brought her husband Larry along. Once they landed in Frankfurt, the Owens found themselves in the lap of luxury, staying at the opulent Steigenberger Hotel in a room that cost as much as almost $1,300 a night. What did Owen do during that week in Germany? A spokesman says she watched the basketball game, met with students studying abroad, and held an alumni dinner. The bill shows there were only 10 guests. When we tried to talk to her at last week's trustees meeting, she snuck out the back and hid behind a locked door.
Do you know if Trustee Owen stays in $1,300 a night hotels when she's paying for them?
All I can say at this point is I don't know the details on the specific trips that you're asking.
But the Owens didn't go home after Germany. No, it was time to board another plane and head to Paris, France. Spending 3 nights at another hotel, this one only cost about $1 grand a night. A spokesman says she attended another alumni dinner and visited the U.S. Embassy, discussing ways to further MSU's role in the region.
We have faculty and staff around the world doing great work. When trustees go to observe that work, we have certain allowances, and there are constraints on those allowances.
Apparently there are no constraints on limousines. The Owens racked up nearly $3,000 so they could be squired around Germany and France. They got another $3 grand in walking around money, too. Cash stipends for the both of them. The total bill for the university for the 10-day trip, more than $26,000. For Mike Havern, that's a year's tuition.
Probably there is a disconnect, and being a trustee for so long, you are entitled to so many privileges.
President Simon said Owen's trip and bringing along her husband was money well spent, adding that it's university policy to pay for spouses.
If you look at the roles that spouses play in co-hosting dinners, dealing with donors, a wide variety of activities are very similar to what happens on campus.
But others, like Trustee Diane Woodard, didn't even try to defend the policy.
Have you heard any rationales for it?
No, I have not.
Can you imagine any?
No, I cannot.
Owen is just one of several trustees to take advantage of the travel partner perk. Trustees Joel Ferguson and Diane Byram have done it too. And so did Melanie Foster. When she was a trustee last year, she traveled to South Africa and brought along her husband John. They stayed in the more costly family suite, and the schedule for their 10-day trip shows 2 personal days, an alumni dinner and reception, recruiting potential students, and university tours. Their trip cost MSU more than 20 grand. Foster at first agreed to an interview with me, abruptly canceled, then dodged my calls for a week. So...
Hey.
Hi.
How you doing? Ross Jones from Channel 7. Wanted to talk to you about the trip to South Africa.
We visited her on the doorsteps of her East Lansing home. After she found out we asked to see a copy of her bills, Foster decided to cut MSU a big check, $14,000 to cover her husband's portion of the trip that happened 9 months earlier. Paying the university back, she said, just slipped her mind.
The 9 months after the trip, ma'am.
I thought that I had a very serious death in the family at the end of the year. I honestly thought I did it.
She said even though the school should have never paid for her spouse, it would have been perfectly allowable by MSU rules.
I'm just trying to figure out why does that policy make sense to you?
It's part of the outreach
But
of the
how does that-
university.
but
I don't know that maybe they, I think that's something that could be looked at as a cost-saving measure to the university. This is certainly something that I would encourage the board to review.
I mean, it's not right. I work hard. I work really hard to go to the school. I wish it was going towards something more beneficial, more educational, helping future students.
Melanie Foster lost her re-election to the Board of Trustees last year around the same time she took that trip to South Africa. But she says she's running to get back on. Now you're probably wondering, what about the University of Michigan? Well, so are we. For months we've been pushing to see copies of their bills, but U of M officials say there are so many, it's taking weeks and weeks to compile them. As soon as they finally do, we'll show you how the maize and blue are spending the green and white. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.